Why learning fast is the ultimate superpower. In today's world, everything changes faster than ever. Technology evolves, industries shift, and new skills become valuable almost overnight. What you know today might become outdated tomorrow. Because of this, the most powerful skill you can develop is not just knowledge, it's the ability to learn quickly and adapt. Think about it. The person who learns faster can switch careers faster. They can solve problems quicker. They can take advantage of opportunities before others even understand them. Learning fast is like having a shortcut to growth in every area of life. Why learning speed matters more than intelligence. Many people believe success depends on talent or intelligence, but in reality, the biggest advantage comes from how fast you can learn and improve. Someone with average ability but strong learning skills will outperform someone who is talented but slow to adapt. Because over time, skills stack, knowledge compounds, experience grows. The new reality, lifelong learning. In the past, you could learn one skill and use it for life. Today, that's no longer true. You must constantly learn, constantly update your skills, constantly adapt. This is why learning fast is no longer optional, it's necessary. Learning fast equals more opportunities. When you can learn quickly, you can try more things. You can recover from failure faster. You can move ahead while others are still stuck learning basics. It gives you a huge advantage in career, business, and personal growth. Final insight. The goal is not to know everything. The goal is to become someone who can learn anything. Because once you master the skill of learning, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The real problem. Why most people learn so slowly. Let me ask you something. Have you ever spent hours watching tutorials, reading books, taking notes, but a few days later you forgot almost everything? That's not because you're bad at learning. It's because you were taught the wrong way to learn. Most people think learning looks like this. Watch a video, highlight a book, take notes, and somehow knowledge will just stick. But here's the truth. Consuming information is not the same as learning. Think about it like this. Watching a fitness video doesn't make you stronger. Reading about swimming doesn't teach you how to swim. In the same way, watching 10 hours of content doesn't mean you've learned anything. The hidden problem. The real issue is passive learning. It feels productive because you're focused, you're paying attention, and you understand what you see. But you're not actually training your brain to recall, apply, and use the information. Why this slows you down. When you only consume, you forget faster. You feel stuck, and you need to relearn again and again. It creates the illusion of progress, but no real skill. The shift that changes everything. Fast learners do something different. They don't just consume, they engage. They test themselves, practice immediately, explain what they learn, make mistakes fast. Simple example. Instead of watching a 30-minute lesson, a fast learner will watch for 5 minutes, pause, try it themselves. That's how learning becomes real. Final insight. If you want to learn faster, stop trying to learn more and start trying to use what you learn immediately. Because real learning doesn't happen when you understand something. It happens when you can actually do it. The first principle. Learn with purpose. Here's the hard truth. Most people waste a ton of time learning things they don't actually need. You see it all the time. Someone buys an expensive course, reads 10 books, or binge watches tutorials, and yet nothing really changes. Why? Because there was no clear purpose behind the learning. Purpose changes everything. Think about it. If you want to run a marathon, your training isn't random. You have a goal. Every mile, every drill, every rest day is part of the plan. Learning works the same way. When you have a specific reason to learn something, your brain filters out distractions. You focus on the most important parts. You stay motivated even when it gets hard. Example, instead of saying, I want to learn coding, say, I want to build a small app that helps me track my expenses in 3 months. Notice the difference. One is vague, easy to quit. The other is specific, measurable, and urgent. How to find your purpose. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? What problem will it solve? How will it improve my life or career? When you answer these questions, learning becomes intentional, not accidental. Key insight. Purpose acts like a compass. It tells you what to focus on, what to skip, and keeps you moving forward. Without it, even 10 hours of learning can feel wasted. With it, every minute counts and progress accelerates naturally. The 80-20 rule of learning. Here's a secret most people never realize. Not all learning is created equal. Some parts of a subject give you massive results, while the rest barely moves the needle. That's the 80-20 rule, also called the Pareto principle. 20% of what you focus on produces 80% of your results. Why most learners struggle. Most learners try to master everything at once. They memorize every detail. They read every chapter. They study things they'll never use. And they wonder why progress feels slow. Focusing on everything equally is like trying to drink from a fire hose. You get overwhelmed and forget half of it. How fast learners do it. Fast learners identify the vital few concepts that deliver the biggest impact. Want to learn a language? Focus on the most common 1,000 words first. Want to code? Learn the core logic and structures, not obscure libraries. Want to invest? Understand fundamental principles, not every stock tip. By mastering the critical 20%, you unlock 80% of the skill's power in much less time. Example, imagine trying to learn basketball. Most learners practice shooting every possible shot equally. Fast learners focus on the shots that appear most often in games. The result? They improve faster, play smarter, and see progress almost immediately. Key insight. Stop trying to learn everything. Find the 20% that matters most and master it. The rest will often take care of itself. Purposeful focus is what separates slow learners from fast learners. Active learning beats passive learning. Here's the thing most people get wrong about learning. Watching or reading doesn't equal learning. You might spend hours watching videos, scrolling through tutorials, or reading books, but days later, most of it is gone. That's because your brain doesn't store information you don't use. Passive versus active learning. Passive learning is watching lectures, highlighting books, listening without doing. It feels productive, but it's mostly illusionary progress. Active learning, on the other hand, is practicing what you've learned, explaining it to someone else, testing yourself, applying knowledge in real situations. In short, doing trumps observing every time. Real-life example. Passive is watching a cooking tutorial and thinking, I got this. Active is following the recipe step by step in your kitchen. Which one actually makes you a better cook? The second one, obviously. It's the same with any skill: programming, language learning, sports, even business. How to learn actively. Try it immediately. Don't wait until you understand everything. Teach someone else. Explaining forces clarity. Experiment and make mistakes. Failures accelerate learning. Test yourself. Quizzes, challenges, real applications. Key insight. The fastest learners don't spend hours consuming content. They spend hours doing, applying, and testing. Remember, your brain learns by engaging, not by watching. The Feynman technique. Have you ever felt like you understand something until someone asks you to explain it and suddenly you're stuck? That's where the Feynman technique comes in. It's one of the fastest ways to turn knowledge into real understanding. What it is. Richard Feynman, a Nobel-winning physicist, had a simple rule. If you can't explain it simply, you don't really understand it. The technique has 4 steps. Learn a concept, read it, watch it, or study it. Explain it in simple terms, like you're teaching a child. Identify gaps, notice where you get stuck or confused. Review and simplify. Go back, clarify, and refine your explanation. Why it works. Forces clarity. You can't hide behind jargon. Reveals weak spots. Gaps in knowledge become obvious fast. Strengthens memory. Actively processing information helps it stick. Example. Suppose you're learning basic coding. Instead of just writing code, you explain to a friend. This loop repeats these steps until this condition is met. When you stumble over a part, you revisit it, clarify, and try again. After a few rounds, your understanding becomes deep and practical, not just theoretical. Key insight. The Feynman technique isn't just a method, it's a mindset. Real learning happens when you can teach, simplify, and apply, not just when you consume information. Focus and deep work. Here's a fact. In a world full of notifications, distractions, and constant noise, focus is your superpower. You can have the best tutorials, books, and mentors, but if you can't focus, you won't learn fast. The problem. Most people try to multitask. Watch a video while scrolling social media, take notes while checking emails, study while a TV is on in the background. It feels productive, but the truth? Multitasking destroys deep learning. You remember less, process slower, and progress stalls. What deep work means. Deep work is fully immersing yourself in a single task, eliminating distractions, engaging your brain at maximum intensity. When you work deeply, your brain builds strong connections and retains more knowledge. How to practice deep work. Set a time block, 30 to 60 minutes of uninterrupted focus. Remove distractions, phone on silent, apps closed, notifications off. Choose a clear goal. Know exactly what you want to learn or accomplish. Take breaks. Short breaks prevent burnout and keep focus sharp. Example. Instead of studying for 3 hours with constant interruptions, try 60 minutes of deep work. You'll absorb more, retain more, and finish tasks faster. Deep work is the multiplier of learning speed. Key insight. Focus is not about working harder, it's about working smarter. The more concentrated your effort, the faster you learn and the deeper the understanding. Repetition and memory. Here's something most people overlook. Learning something once isn't enough. You can watch a video, read a book, or attend a lecture, but without repetition, your brain forgets most of it within days. That's why memory and repetition are critical for learning fast. Why we forget. Your brain is designed to prioritize survival, not knowledge retention. If you don't revisit information, your brain decides it's not important. That's why cramming and passive learning rarely stick. The power of spaced repetition. Fast learners use a strategy called spaced repetition. Learn something new, review it after 1 day, review again after 3 days, then after a week, 2 weeks, 1 month. This timing strengthens memory and moves knowledge from short-term to long-term storage. Example, learning a new language. Day 1, learn 20 new words. Day 2, review them and add 10 more. Day 5, review all 30. Day 12, review again. By doing this, your retention skyrockets without extra effort. Active recall boosts memory. Repetition works even better when paired with active recall. Instead of rereading, test yourself. Write down what you remember. Teach it to someone else. Active recall strengthens neural pathways, making knowledge stickier and more usable. Key insight. Repetition and memory aren't about doing more, they're about doing it smarter. Small, consistent reviews make your brain retain more in less time. Learning by doing. Skill building. Here's a truth that changes everything. You don't truly learn until you do. Reading, watching, or listening can give you knowledge, but skills only come from practice and action. Why doing matters. Think about it like this. Watching someone play guitar won't make your fingers move correctly. Reading about public speaking won't make you confident on stage. Skills are built through experience, mistakes, and repeated attempts. Knowledge is potential. Action turns it into ability. How to learn by doing. Start small. Pick a simple task to practice immediately. Apply what you've learned, even imperfectly. Iterate quickly. Learn from mistakes, adjust, try again. Increase complexity gradually. As you improve, challenge yourself. The key is momentum. Small, consistent actions compound into real mastery over time. Example: learning to code. Don't just watch tutorials. Build a tiny project on day one. Refactor it, test it, and tweak it. Learning photography. Don't just read about aperture and shutter speed. Take photos, review results, adjust settings. By doing, you cement knowledge and develop muscle memory, intuition, and problem-solving skills. Key insight. Action is the bridge between knowing and mastering. Fast learners turn ideas into experiments and experiments into skill. Feedback and correction. Here's the reality. Doing alone isn't enough. If you practice the wrong way, you'll just get better at mistakes. That's why feedback is essential. Without it, skill building is like sailing without a compass. You might move, but you won't reach your destination efficiently. Why feedback matters. Feedback shows what's working and what's not. It highlights mistakes you can't see yourself. It accelerates learning by helping you adjust early rather than repeating errors for months. How to use feedback effectively. Seek it actively. Don't wait for someone to tell you. Ask mentors, peers, or even analyze results yourself. Be specific. General comments like "good job" aren't enough. You need actionable insights. Don't fear criticism. The faster you identify mistakes, the faster you improve. Apply corrections immediately. Feedback only matters if you act on it. Example: learning guitar. Record yourself playing. Listen carefully for timing, tone, and mistakes. Adjust technique based on what you hear. Learning writing. Share a draft. Identify unclear sentences, weak arguments. Rewrite and improve. Key insight. Feedback transforms effort into progress. Without it, even hundreds of hours of practice can be wasted. The fastest learners treat feedback like fuel. It powers smarter, faster improvement, turning average practice into mastery. Consistency over intensity. Here's the big secret most people miss. It's not about how hard you work in one session. It's about showing up again and again. Many learners think they need marathon study sessions, endless practice, or epic effort to improve. But the truth is, small, consistent actions beat sporadic intensity every time. Why consistency matters. Consistency builds momentum. Every day you practice, your skills stack. It prevents burnout. Small steps are sustainable. It allows for compounding growth. Tiny improvements add up faster than giant leaps followed by long gaps. How to stay consistent. Set a daily or weekly routine. Even 20 to 30 minutes counts. Focus on progress, not perfection. Consistency matters more than flawless performance. Track your efforts. Visually seeing streaks or progress motivates you to keep going. Start small and scale. It's easier to maintain small habits and grow them over time. Example: learning a language. 20 minutes every day beats 3 hours once a week. Practicing an instrument. 15 minutes daily beats 2 hours on Sunday. Why? Because your brain adapts faster with repeated exposure. Each session reinforces memory and skills, and you never lose the rhythm. Key insight: mastery is less about bursts of intensity and more about consistent effort over time. Fast learners know that showing up regularly beats trying to be superhuman. Consistency is the engine that turns small daily actions into extraordinary results. The role of environment. Here's a truth most learners overlook. Your environment shapes how fast you learn. You can have all the motivation in the world, the best books, and endless courses, but if your surroundings don't support learning, progress slows dramatically. Why environment matters? Our brains are heavily influenced by cues and context. A cluttered, noisy, or distracting space makes focus nearly impossible. Conversely, a well-organized, supportive environment encourages productive habits and consistent practice. How to design your environment? Remove distractions, silence notifications, tidy your space, block social media. Add positive cues, put tools or reminders where you see them to trigger learning. Surround yourself with inspiration, mentors, peers, or role models who motivate you. Create dedicated learning zones. Even a small corner or desk can prime your brain for focus. Example: want to learn coding? Keep your laptop, textbooks, and notes together in one quiet area. Want to improve fitness? Set up a space with your gear ready so starting is effortless. Want to write daily? Keep a notebook and pen on your desk at all times. These small environmental tweaks make it easier to start, harder to procrastinate, and more likely to succeed over time. Key insight: your environment either supports your learning or sabotages it. Smart learners design spaces that nudge them toward action rather than away from it. Remember, success isn't just about willpower, it's about making the right actions automatic through your surroundings. Mindset of fast learners. Here's the biggest difference between learners who struggle and those who skyrocket. Mindset. Fast learners don't just follow techniques, they think differently about learning itself. They see it as a process, not a one-time event. Growth over fixed. Slow learners often think, I'm either good at this or I'm not. Fast learners adopt a growth mindset. I can improve with practice, effort, and feedback. This mindset changes everything. Challenges become opportunities, mistakes become lessons, and effort becomes the path to mastery. Curiosity is their fuel. Fast learners are naturally curious. They ask why, how, and what if constantly. They dive deeper, not because they have to, but because they want to understand the world better. Curiosity keeps learning enjoyable and sustainable. It's not just a chore. Embracing mistakes. Fast learners don't fear failure. Every mistake is data. Every setback shows where to improve. Instead of quitting when things get hard, they iterate, adjust, and try again. Key insight: Fast learning isn't just a set of skills, it's a mindset. Adopt curiosity, embrace growth, and see mistakes as stepping stones. When you combine techniques, environment, repetition, and this mindset, learning anything quickly stops being a dream and becomes reality. Energy and health. Here's a truth many learners ignore. Your brain is a machine, and energy is its fuel. You can have the best techniques, tools, and strategies, but if your body and mind are drained, learning slows dramatically. Why energy matters? Focus, memory, and creativity all depend on physical and mental energy. Sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, and stress impair your ability to absorb, retain, and apply knowledge. Even short bouts of fatigue can make your learning sessions inefficient. How to optimize energy? Prioritize sleep. 7 to 9 hours daily keeps your brain sharp and memory strong. Eat smart. Balanced meals fuel sustained concentration. Avoid excessive sugar or junk food. Move your body. Even short exercise improves circulation, energy, and cognitive function. Manage stress. Meditation, deep breathing, or short breaks can restore mental clarity. Example: a student who crams all night may memorize facts temporarily, but they'll forget quickly and perform worse under stress. Someone who balances 6 hours of focused study with proper sleep, nutrition, and short workouts retains more, thinks faster, and stays motivated. Key insight? Fast learning isn't just mental, it's physical and holistic. Your brain performs best when your body is healthy, your energy is high, and your habits support focus. Think of energy and health as the foundation for all other learning strategies. Without it, even the best techniques fall short. The compound effect of learning. Here's a truth that separates fast learners from everyone else. Small, consistent learning compounds over time. You might think that learning a little each day doesn't make a difference, but over weeks, months, and years, those small efforts add up exponentially. Why compound learning works. Knowledge and skills build on each other. Every new concept becomes easier to understand because you already have a foundation. Habits of learning grow stronger the more you practice them. Think of it like investing money. Small deposits now grow into massive results later. Learning works the same way. How to apply it. Learn a little every day, even 20 to 30 minutes matters. Review and reinforce. Repetition locks skills into long-term memory. Apply knowledge consistently. Practice turns understanding into real ability. Reflect and adjust. Small improvements compound into mastery over time. Example: reading 10 pages a day might feel small, but in a year that's 3,650 pages. Practicing a skill 15 minutes daily might feel insignificant, but in 12 months, you'll have over 90 hours of focused practice, enough to build real expertise. Key insight. Fast learning isn't about instant results, it's about consistent effort over time. The compound effect turns tiny daily actions into extraordinary skill, knowledge, and confidence. Remember, every minute you invest today multiplies tomorrow. Small, smart learning builds unstoppable momentum. Conclusion: the formula for learning anything fast. After exploring all the parts of fast learning, one thing becomes clear. There's a formula that separates average learners from exceptional ones. It's not about talent, luck, or endless hours of work. It's about how you approach learning, practice, and improvement consistently. The formula. Purpose. Start with a clear goal or reason for learning. Active learning. Don't just consume knowledge, apply it, test it, and explain it. Repetition and memory. Use spaced repetition and active recall to lock knowledge in. Feedback and correction. Identify mistakes early and adjust quickly. Environment and focus. Shape surroundings to support learning and eliminate distractions. Mindset. Stay curious, embrace growth, and see mistakes as opportunities. Health and energy. Fuel your brain and body to maintain sustained focus. Consistency. Small daily actions compound into mastery over time. Key insight. Learning fast is not magic, it's science applied consistently. Every step builds on the previous one. Purpose drives focus, focus enables deep work strengthens skills, skills improve through practice and feedback, and all of it compounds over time. The formula works for any skill: coding, languages, sports, art, business, anything. The difference is in how you approach it deliberately, consistently, and smartly. Takeaway: if you follow this formula, you'll turn curiosity into expertise, mistakes into lessons, and small daily efforts into extraordinary results. The real superpower of fast learning isn't just speed, it's the ability to master anything you choose.